you cannot speak about hip hop and hip hop DJing in this country without mentioning his name. DJ Zan-D is in the house. Mara, if only Leo yo, maybe I can say Zan-D.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm all good. I'm all good. With the experience that I had at home in those couple of weeks where I was at home, with that DJ experience that I had, I felt like, man, I've been in England for 6 years.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's time to come back home. People will look at me funny when I play deep house.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I speak about deep house, some people actually on Twitter, they'll say to me, bro, just go to your hip hop. What do you know about deep house? DJ Choc, he took it upon himself to actually be like the dad to me. Just please give me the light as to how to move from here on with what you've left for us.
We're all about sharing the facts and teaching the tricks. Let's talk all things about music, the life of music. Let's engage about the rhythm. Let's talk about our passion for melodies, sound, and those beautiful classics. Let's get educated about these decibels we oh so dearly love. On this podcast, we talk about these politics. Welcome to Music Politricks.
Sane bonani dumelang exe nakalina ke nna busi mara wa itse ba ba khulu ba ba dese ba re ke the Queen of Pitori, and welcome to another episode of Music Politricks. This is where we learn everything there is to learn where music is concerned. We are here to share all the facts and learn all the tricks via all our expert guests. A big shout out to everybody on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, who's just reviewing and of course commenting and sharing their thoughts on the podcast. And a big shout out to you as well, who's watching on YouTube. Majority of you, Hashem, you are viewing. Love it. Thank you. However, please make sure you press that subscribe button, okay? Because some of you, actually majority of you, are not actually subscribed. So do the right thing. Now, today's guests, or rather guest. Today's guest, you cannot speak about hip hop and hip hop DJing in this country without mentioning his name. All right? He's a DJ. He's part of the culture. He's a taste maker. And look, if maybe something is happening.
Cabareta.
Oh, I don't know, it's always the cabareta. But look, I'm so excited for this conversation because DJ Zan-D is in the house. Mara, if only Leo yo, maybe I can say Zan-D.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. You know, me, I'm always good.
Yeah.
Even through the hard times, I make sure that hard time goes off quickly and I get back to my goodness.
Okay. You don't seem like Mutwa Kwaito. Like, you don't seem like someone who's like easy to be annoyed or.
Yeah. But like with everybody else, obviously we do go through those moments where wakwata because of whatever's happening.
Sure.
But I value happiness a lot.
That's cool.
So I do everything I can to make sure I'm always happy.
Okay.
And also I also enjoy sharing the happiness. So with me being happy, then I can also share the happiness with whoever is around me.
Okay.
Yeah.
One hip hop song that makes you happy regardless of your mood, regardless of whether you're having a terrible day or just an incredible day.
Why are you starting so hard?
Please.
You know why this is such a difficult question for me? I do have an answer, ne?
Okay.
But it's such a difficult question for me because I love music.
Yeah.
And hip hop is obviously my life, you know? And to be able to pick one song, it is so
Tricky.
difficult. Yeah. But I'll tell you. There's different music for different moods.
Yeah.
And most music for me makes me happy. Even though it may be emotional,
Okay.
but the feeling that it brings, it's usually a happy feeling. Because even when it's a song that reminds you of a certain sad day in life, but it still gives you a certain emotion that's gonna feel like, okay, I'm reminiscing, but actually, you know, it gives a good feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not able to understand
I
to
get-
explain it properly.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. Whenever I am playing Wu-Tang Clan in my car,
Oh, yeah.
you must know that this guy is extremely happy today and nothing will get in his way to be upset or anything like that. Anything Wu-Tang Clan in my car, you must know.
I love that. I
Yeah.
also love that decision and the choice, because it's also evident, and we all know this.
Yes.
You have been rocking in this industry, okay?
Oh, yeah.
You have. And before we even talk about your involvement in the family business, you know,
Yes.
let's talk about before that, you know, like growing up as a child, go for slow. What was interesting for you at that point in time? No one what was happening?
I used to be so proud of coming from Foslo
Yeah.
because we used to brag about Foslo being the brightest township in South Africa because we had so many of those. I actually had this one white person once said they are called gaffer lights, which I hate that word.
Yeah.
Then I thought about
Terrible
it.
word.
Actually, those lights were put on only at the townships. Those Apollo lights,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
They are so bright that even when you're trying to sleep and you're a light sleeper, that light is going to shine through your bedroom window and you're going to struggle to sleep.
And the closer you are to the Apollo, good luck.
But in the townships, we love them because they made the township nice and bright. And even at night, you felt much safer because everywhere you go, there's enough light, you know? Then you go to another township and then it's a lot darker than Fosloras. Then you're like, man, you know what? I actually appreciate those Apollo lights because here it's so dark and you're thinking, I don't know about my safety, even though I come from the hood. But the next township may not be as safe as my township because there I'm comfortable and it's so much lighter. And also, when people drive from Durban back to Jozi, the first township they see is Fosloras.
Sure.
And when they see those bright lights, and everybody just gets excited and say, guys, we are home now. You know?
That's so true.
So yeah, man, Fosloras is obviously there's a special. It's got a special place in my heart. Obviously, I don't stay there now, but I grew up there, and those were some of the best moments of my life. From playing with the kites, you know, we had the seasons. The one season is the kite season. That's normally in August because it's windy.
Yeah.
Winter season, we played. We went to the fields to go hunt for dimbiba. I don't know what they call that. It's like a mouse that's got a stripe on top.
Oh, okay. I see
Yeah,
that,
because then
sure.
they would bend the forest or bend the bushes.
Yeah.
And then those things would need to run somewhere and then we'd try and catch them.
Yeah.
Hey, that's life. Yeah, I would buy those things. Yo. and there was a season where we played Stina, so it's the marbles and the bricks, you know? Yeah, like there was always a season for something. So I always appreciated that. And, you know, we never got bored. Even though some families were poor, they didn't have PlayStations, some didn't have TV at the time. I was fortunate that, you know, my family, we had the TV.
Yeah.
And my brother had the PlayStation,
Okay,
you know?
nice.
But I never played with those things. Like, the streets were always my game.
Okay, so tabaya strategy thumile khale.
Yeah. Even though my family did not like that, they made sure I stay at home. But you know, being in the township life is the streets.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you
that's
want to
true.
go out and play outside because
Yeah.
the fun is out there.
And now you start realizing that, okay, this is the kind of business we are in, Kuntlungu.
Yes.
Obviously, your dad with the sound hiring.
Yes.
How did you officially get involved? Because, I mean, I can imagine it must be kind of confusing for him because Baba not, they're not trying to over too much ko strateng. But sound hiring, to be honest, has a lot to do with being outgoing.
Yeah. I'll be honest though. As much as I loved going to the streets, I was very shy
Okay.
and I was very reserved and quiet.
Wow. Okay.
That's actually a summary of my personality. I will only speak when spoken to or speak to just people that are close to me.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I've always been like that. Now I'm slightly different because I'm much older, but even then, as much as I loved going to go play outside, my dad was very smart.
Yeah.
So he would give me little things that are like cool, but they were teaching me life lessons.
Okay.
You know, for example, we had these big windows at our house. Actually, we still do. You know those forum houses, ne? Back in the day, they would break them down and then add increase the size of the windows.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so we had one of those where the size of the windows was increased to make them bigger.
Okay.
But the windows at my mom's place, you must understand. I don't think I've actually seen a house in the township or actually period with windows as big as those.
Okay.
Guys, I think we can actually we can have a debate on this one. But where I'm going with this, my dad would give me like a job where I would have to, he used to compile mixes.
Okay.
He wouldn't mix it, but he used to compile music onto tapes.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he would go to work, but maybe let's say school holidays, he'll give me like a list of what songs to put on side A of the tape, what songs to put on side B of the tape.
Wow.
And I was like 6, 7 years old already. I was doing those type of jobs. You know, sometimes I'd need to like clean speakers or roll cables after the sound systems have been out for hire. You know, so I'd have to help my brother clean those things. But you can imagine, I'm saying the house had big windows.
Yeah.
So I can see my friends play outside there. And I want to go play, but now I have to be busy with these records, playing songs that I don't even like, you know? But Brooke Benton, but Manhattan, the OJs. And because, you know, with vinyl, everything is delicate.
Very.
So you have to be cautious of how you place the needle. You have to make sure that when the song ends, it must be right at the end when you press pause on the turntable and press pause on the cassette deck so that you can unpause it for the next song.
Absolutely.
Guys, I was like 6, 7, 8 years old doing those type of things. But you know what, ne? Now I look at my life back then, I'm like, wow. Actually, this guy, thank you for that, because all that experience, now I can DJ with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
You know? The whole thing of these guys doing now, DJing without headphones, I did that back in the day with vinyl. You understand?
Yeah.
But because I started at such a young age, it was like, you know, second nature to me.
If BPM doesn't work, you're not stressed.
Nah.
Like whatever.
I'll find a way.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so basically that's how I was actually introduced to music and to sound and, you know, everything to do was like, it wasn't really DJing at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like people, they were like selectors, you know. What's the word they like using right now? Curators.
Sure.
You know, they will curate like if you think about it, how you go spotong sa Big Mama's what or Hazandi. There used to be a place called Hazandi, funny enough, in Vosloras.
Yeah.
It was popular because Zandi's place, you would always hear the best music.
Sure.
And that guy would never mix. And they never said he was DJ Zan-D.
Yeah. And Smanje ki curator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they knew, like, if you want the international, when house music was called international.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember.
If you want to listen to the best international, you go to Zandi's place.
Sure.
If you want to hear some good local music, you go to Downtown Tavern.
Yeah, sure.
So from those days, understand that the DJing culture was there, but in a different way. But I was already being introduced to that sort of lifestyle.
I think it was inevitable that you're actually going to follow in that light, in that direction. You know?
My mom tried to, you know,
yeah,
get me to go study.
Well, at least those with 18s and Inyana, we featured of course later on, you know, but also geez, your dad played a huge role.
Yeah.
You know, but so did DJ Choc.
Yes. Unfortunately, my dad passed on when I was, it was 2010, so I was turning 10 years old. So I would have been still 9 years old. So I'm looking at my daughter now and I'm thinking, I can't imagine leaving her at this early age. You understand? But I was not old enough for it to break me, but I was also old enough for it to make me cry. dad was a businessman, so he was always so busy. So I never really got to spend a lot of time with him. But whenever I had that moment, yeah, I'll be so happy. Whenever he was home, I'd be so happy. Like whenever he'd come back from work, I would like, take off his shoes and that type of thing. So when he passed on, we had the nightclub at home. And my brothers, obviously, I'm the last born, so everyone is older. All my eldest brothers, my older brothers, they had to basically man up and run the business. And then DJ Choc, he took it upon himself to actually be like the dad to me. I was closer to him because, I follow him. But he was not much older, but he was much wiser. And he had already been around. Obviously, as an older brother, he knows more. So he just took me under his wing. Whenever he'd go to find records, he'd go with me. He used to sell tapes as well. So he'd walk from taxi rank to taxi rank in Josie to sell tapes and mixtapes and all those sort of things. He'd be with me there. We'd go to Mullah's. I'd walk into the stores like a stores I'm a punker, with all these big boots and chains and leather jackets. And I'd be like, what are we doing here? And then we'd go underground downstairs, and then this guy will show us all these exclusive records.
Wow.
And it was such special moments for me because all of this was interesting, And the best part for me also was at the end of all those trips with him, we'd always stop at Sweets from Heaven. And he'd always buy sweets and chocolates there, which is why he's called DJ Choc, because it comes from chocolate. Yes. And then, man, I can speak the whole day about DJ Choc and what he's done for me. But like I said, he had kids, but he'd always taken me like his firstborn. Baba, even though I was his younger brother. So I never struggled with anything. And I never felt like I didn't have a dad. Even though all my other brothers, obviously, they also played a big part in my life. But obviously, DJ Choc was the one that was like, okay, listen, now I'm going to leave you with this sound system. Make sure you hold it up until they finish with the speeches. And when they're done with the speeches at this 21st birthday, just play nice R&B that's going to make them move. Don't make them go crazy. Just play R&B and hip-hop. That's just going to make them move. And then once I'm done bathing, I'm going to come back and then I'll take it over. And then I'd be so nervous, because I'll be this young kid. Now he's left me with the sound system and the party. So I'm a perfectionist. So I want to do the right thing. I want to perfect it. I want to play the right song at the right time. And then by the time he comes back, I'll be so relieved. But him throwing me at the deep end, taught me to be brave at a young age.
And what an important lesson, especially as a DJ, because I get you can't start getting the heavy heat at the beginning of a party,
So also that was teaching me how to read the crowd. You understand? Which is what I see a lot of people are struggling with right now at this time where we have a million, if not more, DJs in South Africa.
That's true.
I think the old school DJs are fortunate that they learned the hard way, and where things were not so easy. It's the DJs right now. I won't say they have it easy because the industry is saturated.
That's true.
So they have to work harder to blow up or work harder to even get the work. Once on. Back then, you knew Refos Loras only had 3 DJs. It was DJ Forza, it was DJ Choc, and I'm forgetting the other one. You understand? So where to only had maybe 5. You knew Kanyani, you understand? You knew QT, you knew whoever. So it was like that. Pretoria, also you knew the handful.
Of course.
Now...
they change.
They changed.
And what was that era like, in terms of, okay, you were quite young, but of course you could also see like where music is at. And particularly also hip-hop is such an interesting genre in this country because There's been so many interesting waves that he
Yo, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it went from when DJs played everything. So you knew you'd go to a festival, Oskido will start his set with a hip hop set. And then move from hip hop to Kwaito, from Kwaito to house.
Yeah.
That was a normal thing.
Yeah.
Hearing Christos play Kwaito, hearing DJ Christos play hip hop, that was also a normal thing. Unlike now where
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
people will look at me funny when I play deep house.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I speak about deep house, some people actually on Twitter, they'll say to me, bro, just go to your hip hop. What do you know about deep house?
Jeez.
Not knowing that
Jeez.
I've got more deep house vinyls and music than he can ever count, you know? But because people don't know you like that, especially on Twitter, which I always ignore, like I ignore comments like that. So people don't know what you know, especially if you are from the old school, you know? They probably just know the new guys. But hip hop moved from where it was played by everybody to hip hop being hip hop versus Kwaito.
Yeah.
That's when now we started having local hip hop guys who were doing hip hop, whether it was in English or vernac.
Yeah.
But most of them were in English. So the Kwaito guys were hating. Sorry to call it hating,
Yeah.
but it just sounded like the hip hop guys, they think they are all that because Bona, they speak the English. They are twanging. You understand? And most of the Kwaito guys were like the Kasi guys. And obviously, if you were in the hood, if you're going to come here and twang, we will always look at you funny.
Yeah, it's
You understand?
like
Yeah. It took a while before twanging was okay in the hood. So also with like hip hop versus Kwaito, that was a big thing. Even at concert, even backstage, even at festivals, you know, the Kwaito guys were there, the hip hop guys were there. It only just changed when more and more hood guys, Kasi guys started rapping in vernac.
Sure.
Like your H2Os, Flava, Hidden Force, you know?
Yeah.
And they started infusing some of the Kasi sound and Kasi culture and Kasi slang into hip hop. That's when it was, now we're intertwining.
And I love that you're saying that because when you were based in London, you were getting exclusives. Like South African exclusives. What was that like? Because you were also at the forefront of making sure SA music as a whole is popular that side.
Yo, I'm glad you asked that. That's a part of my life that I sometimes forget. And you're right, it was such an important role for South African music. Damn, I've never spoken about this like this before. But there was an era where, excuse me, music, if you don't have the vinyl, you can't play the song if you're a DJ. So I moved to London in 1999. I was 19 then.
Yeah.
And then I got there, I had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So, but now I had already built my name in South Africa and under DJ Choc, obviously. And so now I would get there, find the exclusive house songs and send it to him. But then I built my career in London, found a group of South Africans, Southern African people. So that includes Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Lesotho, and Swaziland. So I found a whole lot of those guys there. I was nicely surprised because I didn't know there was that culture there, you know. I'm calling it a culture, you'll understand in a minute, because when I got there, I realized oh man, those people are South Africans. All they're from South Africa or the southern tip of Africa,
Sure.
and they miss home. So what better for me to play Kwaito from them that side?
That is so cool.
So DJ Choc used to send me all the Kwaito vinyls that he wasn't playing anymore.
Yeah.
Because now Kwaito was banging here, but as a DJ in South Africa, you need to play the latest Kwaito. And then I would send him all the exclusive house songs that people don't have in South Africa.
Yeah.
So it was like a fair deal like that.
That is so cool.
So when other kids will spend their money on maybe cool sneakers or traveling around Europe, me, I spent all my vinyl on all these exclusive vinyls to send back home because that was a cool thing to do. Because also when I also come back home, I will use those vinyls, you know? Yes. But then I pushed all the Kwaito songs in England. It moved so hard that I started becoming a guy that is the main South African DJ for the South African market in London.
That's huge. Also taking into consideration how massive South African music was at the time.
Exactly. And I was found by this guy from Zimbabwe called Ezra, who used to do concerts in England.
Nice.
And we also partnered with the owners of a venue called Stratford Rex.
Okay.
And I met a few guys. Actually, most of the guys who were doing events in London and around England were from Zimbabwe. Yes. Because I had the power of the music, which was the Kwaito at the time, and the experience of the DJing according to those spaces. Because nobody did it like I did. So then I started becoming the go-to guy for Kwaito. For Kwaito sets and for Kwaito festivals and concerts. And then I was part of the team that brought all those guys who organized the concerts. So whether it's from Splash or whether it was Lucky Dube or whether it was DJ Fresh or Skido, Mdu, Joe Nina.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I was responsible for those events back then in London. So that's how I was able to make my name also now in London as that guy. But now that was not enough because now, yes, I'm playing for Southern African people. I wanted to play for the Europeans. Yes. So, yeah. I had to actually buy what we called at the time white music, but trance, EDM, hard house. I bought those vinyls. I built my own house parties. I had the white friends who I used to share accommodation with, who were also like me, like foreign students, you know. So it was guys from like Canada, Eastern Europe, New Zealand, Australian, and obviously a lot of South Africans. So that's how I also started moving into the European market through playing the European sound. But when I got in, then I changed. Then I started playing some of the South African sound. But
that's
also,
smart.
That's when the South African sound the Kwaito was starting to change to house. So now that's why it's always been tricky where people will say Kwaito is dead. Because a lot of the Kwaito records were sounding like house music. That's why people like DJ Cleo and DJ Oskido, they always used to say, guys, Kwaito is not dead. What you are hearing is still Kwaito, but it's so improved, it sounds like the international stuff.
Okay, so it's really just music evolving.
Exactly. That's why even now, my piano, it still sounds like the old Kwaito songs. And it got so big that the people had to go back and do the Kwaito chants, do the Kwaito sounds. Now they even call it, I think they call it, I forgot the phrase, what Sam Deep is doing.
Okay.
They phrased it now.
Okay.
It's hip piano and Kwaito. I think, I forgot how they mix it up. But yeah, people will tell us.
Okay.
Yes, but that's how the sound has grown to be, you know. But it comes from those stages where we had Kwaito moving to and changing and actually improving. Like how hip-hop has done also.
For sure. I see Skija, no?
No, Skija changed.
Is a different thing altogether. But look, how did you then eventually decide to come back home? You're making moves in London. You're doing your thing. You're doing the things that need to be done. But big decision to come back home, right?
Yeah, and it was a big decision because remember, when I left South Africa, I I was already playing at YFM, but under the DJ Fresh show. So I was not contracted to YFM or anything. But because I was this young kid who was playing these cool mixes, house mixes, I'm saying house mixes on purpose, on Fresh's show.
Yeah.
My name was started to actually move around in the streets, you know? And also they knew, Kintwana Choc. Hey, Ntwana Choc adlala. Hey, Ntwanela, you know? So, but I had to move to London and start from scratch. So now there was no more Ntwana Choc in London.
Yeah.
There was no more. No, I had this guy play on YFM. Nah, it was none of that. There I had to fight my way all the way to the top, you know? But now, then I did. Now I had made it. Now, I mean, DJ Fresh knew my name. Mosquito knew my name. Dumasilela knew me. Kintwana Choc, you know?
That's levels.
But now I had to leave all of that in England and come back to SA and start afresh. The plan was to come to SA, stay for like 9 months, then move to Australia.
Okay.
But then I had cold feet and life in SA became too good.
Yeah, hold on nothing.
And I felt like, I don't know if I want to go start from scratch again.
Why did you leave?
In
though?
Australia.
Why did you come back home? You could have just stayed in London, right?
Yes. And that would have been easier. Probably would have made more money quicker. I came back home the 1 December. And I remember there was a SAP event which was hosted by my brother, DJ Choc, Ghost View. Probably one of my favorite gigs of all time. If it's not top 3, it's at least top 5.
Yeah.
I was here on holiday, Bobo. So I had all these exclusive records that I played at that event. I played such a hot set that once when I finished playing, as I tried to go down the stairs to get off the truck, I remember those SAP trucks, the Miller trucks and all of those. It was those that setup. As I tried to get off stage, people picked me up and lifted me up and said, Zan-D, Zan-D, Zan-D. My God. And then it was that moment. I'd finished playing at around 2 a.m. The party probably ended at around 6 a.m. I did not sleep, got home, packed my bags quickly. We drove to the airport. As we got to the airport, my niece started crying.
Oh, man.
She was very young at the time. I don't remember the age, but she would have been around 11, 12. And she wouldn't let go of me.
Oh.
That really broke my heart. Yo. And with that moment, with the experience that I had at home in those couple of weeks where I was at home, with that DJ experience that I had, I felt like, man, I've been in England for 6 years.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's time to come back home. And I realized, you know what? If I could have the same life I had in England, but at home, I'd be so much happier.
Yeah.
Because England, the weather is miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Life is too fast. SA is just chilled, man. Like, you know, you can breathe.
Yeah.
And by the way, that niece that was crying then, that's now Lady 2.
That is so cool. And that's obviously DJ Choc's daughter.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So fast forward, I had to come home because now I was chasing that same lifestyle I had in England.
Yeah.
Because in England, I felt like, okay, I've made it. Obviously, I could still do more. But I just want that at home, you know?
What's the era like musically when you decide that you have now moved back? And where's hip-hop at that point?
I remember Proverb had just dropped his the first album, The Book of Proverb. I heard that song on one of the radio stations, and I thought it was an American guy.
Yeah. I mean, I get why, Joe. Proverb, I get why. DJ
Monde, who's somebody I grew up with, I met him through Choc.
Legend.
But Choc was older than us, so Monde and I were friends, and we got so close. But I come back home, he's now a YFM music manager.
That's so cool.
That blows my mind. I'm like, I grew up with this guy.
Yeah.
You know? DJ Cleo, I went to school with. We did karate together.
What?
He went to church with my cousins.
Okay.
He's now a superstar DJ.
Yeah.
I'm like, when did you start even mixing, Wena? Not only is he mixing, but he's also a super producer.
Yeah, and he's a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah.
What?
That's how I got back home. I won't lie. A part of me felt jealous.
Okay.
Not jealous for the guys. I'm like, it felt like Bansile.
Sure.
You understand?
Oh,
Even though I was doing well there.
Yeah, you were.
But it felt like Bona, they stayed here at home and they did so much better. But you can't really compare the industries.
Yeah.
And you can't compare what I was doing with what they were doing, you know?
That's true.
But I was happy for them. It was good that my friends have made it.
Yeah.
But it was like, but now it feels like Mansile. Now,
Yeah,
now I have to work extra hard.
Yeah.
But now I was DJ Zan-D from the UK. So whenever anybody booked me, they used to write on the flyer, DJ Zan-D, brackets UK.
Okay.
So that made things easier for me, fortunately, you know. And one of my closest friends, Tebza RIP, from Parkrand, Kobona, they used to own Funi's Tavern. Excuse me. And then, so we linked up, and he was friends with the guys who used to rap H2O, Bospijo, you know?
Cool.
So knowing him and also knowing Chili M, who was from Foslo, who just got into YFM, he got a job at YFM. And he was friends with Choc also. He came to the house and he was like, Zan-D, bro, what was the sound like in the UK? And I was like, I've got tapes of the shows that I used to record of the UK hip-hop shows and all that stuff. So Chili M took those tapes, he studied that, and he mastered that in South Africa. Wow. And then he put me on YFM, and now I was a YFM mix DJ.
Okay, that is so
that's
cool.
how I got back into the music scene. So knowing all those people, knowing the right people,
that's
just makes life easier.
True.
Especially when you're a nice people, or when you're a nice person.
Yeah.
Because I could have been, maybe me and Cleo were not getting along before I left. Now I come back, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
He would have just ignored me because obviously we were not,
Yeah.
And but also, because I was nice, I was always just that nice guy also, It just made things easier. And then also when you're a nice guy, people find it easier to work with you.
That's true. Because
then you are easier to work with, which is... I see it's something that's not even supposed to be a secret, but a lot of people they want to quickly become arrogant and say, I've made it in the game.
And the reality is that even when you do make it, you're not supposed to be arrogant. Not,
because especially in the entertainment industry, you are supposed to be a people's person.
Yep.
Those people can make you and break you. You might, no matter how talented you are, you still need those people to support your craft, whether you're a DJ, a rapper, producer, or even behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because your work, when you are behind the scenes, needs to go to the people in front.
Absolutely.
So, Luana, there, you still need to make sure that you're doing your right things the right way.
Yeah. And what I love about the conversation we've had thus far, we're talking about the era about H2O.
Yes.
Of course, you cannot talk hip-hop and not include Pitch Black Afro.
Exactly.
You cannot include Kara Kara.
Exactly.
Of course, the dawn of AKA.
Yes.
And look, man, it's been such an incredible, or rather different eras.
Yes.
Amazing hip hop. What's your favorite era? And where's hip hop at now?
Okay. My favorite era is between 2005 and 2010. I call that the golden era of SA hip hop.
Okay.
Some people will argue and say the golden era is 2015, 14, 15, 16, when Kara Kara, Ngudu, your Caspanyo Vest and all those guys were hot.
Yeah.
And we always debate about this. Me, golden era is when hip-hop was still pure.
Sure.
When nobody sounded like anybody else.
Sure.
When everybody came with their own new ideas. Actually, you made sure that you don't sound like the next person.
Musically, take us through this. Who's dropping during that time?
So Outrageous Records were the go-to guys. Keto Raf were also the go-to guys. Shout out to Lance, man. Lance did so much for SA hip hop.
That's fact.
Yo,
From Prophets of the City time.
Yes, yes.
Like
he started from scratch, basically,
Yo.
you know, and he moved all the way up to Bordales. Zola.
Yeah.
You could argue and say Zola was Kwaito, half hip hop, whatever you want to call it, but he was a rapper.
Yeah.
And being a rapper, some of his beats were also hip hop. So we owning him as hip hop, okay? So Zola was there. And very importantly for me, Rizin.
The Dream Stream Studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
Also dropped around that time. He was plugged by Proverb, but some people don't know. Rizin and myself have been together in the industry for 20 years.
wow.
Yes. 20 years. We used to go to my mom's garage and play records. He would rap, I would practice there, I would scratch,
Guys, that's
try
so
and
cool.
scratch. You understand?
Yeah.
And then obviously as friends, we drift apart and
Yeah.
meet again later on in your
Yeah.
lives, you know? And I was his first performance DJ. And we've been friends ever since. We are so much closer now than ever. And we've done so many records together. But that thing started back then. He's obviously from Katlehong. I'm from Vosloorus.
I'm a little East Fair.
We used to do hip hop sessions. They used to have hip hop sessions in Katlehong. We would go there. He would be there. You know, that's how we all linked up. And the guys from Togoza would go to Togoza. We'd have hip hop sessions there. So it was the whole thing. And when Soweto has hip hop sessions, the East End will travel together to go to Soweto. Wabon, Pocket was there, you know, and just moving right along. It was such a mind-blowing thing when I got back home. I used to look at these artists, Bonabo, Pitchback Afro, Pocket, Rizin, Proverb, all of that, and then speed it up. Years later, now I have those guys on my phone book.
Yeah.
I can call them. Now I can call some of them friends.
Yeah.
I can go to Pocket's house.
Yeah.
Understand?
Sure.
AKA knows me by name.
Yeah.
Understand? It's not easy to digest. One day you look back, you're like, is this really my life?
But the reality is that for sure it's like reciprocal because
Yes.
it's like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Ke khona founela Zan-D, no,
Yep.
Joe, you know?
Yeah.
So because you guys were doing this together.
Yes. And then also, I was not part of any movement. You know, with hip hop, there's cliques. And also, you need to be cool, dress a certain way.
Yeah.
You have Jordans.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
If you don't do the Jordans, then when Naubale, the backpackers, Gangutu, and the Zol, and the All Star, you know, the other corner.
Okay.
So you need to choose. But I was never affiliated to anybody.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, also, yes. I used to just make sure whenever I get booked anywhere, my hands and my craft will speak for me.
Yeah.
And I used to kill all those sets. And some people didn't want to open those doors, especially in the north or the clubs in the north, because I'm not friends with them. But I made sure that the work speaks for me and the work opens those doors.
By fire, by force.
Exactly. And then eventually I found myself also playing in the clubs in the north, you know. But I must give a big shout out to people like C Live. He's one of the first DJs to say, go, bro, I've just met you. We're working together now at YFM. you're such a damn good DJ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak to Naked or speak to some of the guys at the clubs
Yeah.
to actually book you because you are an amazing DJ.
Yeah.
And that's how I started playing at the clubs. Actually,
That's
you know.
so cool. I actually recently watched him go an event called Crate Diggers.
Yeah, Crate Diggers. Shout out to Des.
Like he was just playing a solid
Yep.
hip hop set,
Yeah.
Vano only, and I'm just
Yes.
like,
Big up to Sea Live, man. But yeah, like in the industry, you do find people like that. They'll be like, okay, you know what? We can see he's a great DJ. Let's give him a chance.
That's so cool. Putting each other on is very important.
Oh, it's very important. It's very important. That's why I always have a soft spot for new artists.
Yeah.
And I've tried the new DJs thing, but I've been dropped so many times.
Okay.
I've tried putting on a lot of the DJs, but it's been so difficult with DJs. I don't know why. That I haven't given up, but I've concentrated more on the artists than the DJs.
What is it about the DJs that they're not getting right? What's wrong?
They think it's easy just because you can mix two songs together, then you should get a job. It does not work like that. You need to have your following. You need to build your following.
Yeah.
When they book you, the club must know at least Zan-D will bring 10 people or 5 people.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
You need to be good at your job, but not just the one set because Smang Mang is here. Your last set is gonna be what's gonna sell you to the next event.
Yeah.
So make sure you kill it all the time.
Yeah.
Practice. Very importantly. Guys, they feel like, nah, man, I'm a good DJ, whatever. I don't need to practice. Guys, you need to have your own equipment and you need to practice. Very importantly, your own equipment is very crucial because that's how you're going to be next level DJ.
That's for sure.
That's what's going to make you so much different to everyone else. That's all. And then you need to be professional. As much as is a job where it's a party, there's alcohol, free alcohol, there's beautiful ladies or cool people, or people think you're cool because you are there on top of a stage and there's lights on you. You need to be very, very professional. This is a job. You must treat it like you're running a business because it is a business. They call it the music business for a reason because it's a business.
It's a business.
So you need to know how to write a contract, create a contract. If you don't, find help. But you need to know how to read a contract and actually know what's in the contract. Because if you don't do contracts, then you won't get the bigger jobs. You need to know how to make an invoice. If you can't make an invoice, there's apps now that can help you make invoices. Link those apps to your bank account because then you see what you're doing. Okay, these are my expenses. These are my this is my income. My challenge is by the 26th, I don't get by the 20th of the month. There's not many gigs, so the money that I got in the beginning of the month doesn't last me throughout. How do I change that?
Yeah.
So you need to run it like a business. That's very important. Being professional.
What we spoke about earlier on, before we actually started recording, was you being a tastemaker.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is so important. But at the same time, I want to intertwine that conversation with what we've seen recently. There's a particular DJ who was, hey man, I don't know if I should say he was attacked, but Twitter warriors were going up against him because he played Knock You Down. Yeah, Kevin Hilson singing at a set, you know. And obviously when we look at when that song was released, I mean, it's been a minute.
More than 10 years now.
You know
it's
what
about
I mean?
15 years or whatever,
Yeah, so I mean, as a tastemaker, of course, you're checking out new music.
The new stuff.
So now you're also a DJ. You've been in this game for a very long time. Is that acceptable, especially for a DJ of that caliber? And how much does the DJ go in terms of, let's play new music? Like, what are the parameters?
So at some point, hip-hop DJs used to pride themselves into playing the latest stuff. Also, I would like to say the problem became the clubbing scene, the event scene, and the consumer.
Okay.
And music changed, the industry changed, and before we were more of the tastemaker, would show you what you need to, would play the stuff you don't know that you like, but when you hear it, you're about to find out, and it's gonna blow your mind, and you're gonna go crazy.
Sure.
And then, so I'm gonna blame a few people.
Okay.
Then, yes, the DJ sometimes is at fault because the DJ sometimes they become comfortable.
Mm.
So it's easy to play this song because the song is popular. You know it's going to make the crowd go crazy.
Cool.
And if I don't play the big songs and play the new stuff, people won't dance. So it's going to make me look like I'm a bad DJ. So they don't have the confidence to play the new stuff.
I hear.
So firstly, I would blame the DJs. So they are also at fault. Secondly, I'll blame the event organizers, the club owners, the event owners. When as a DJ you're trying to teach people music, sometimes they come to you and say, no. Please make this crowd go crazy because I want that bar sold out, or I want more people to come to the dance floor, or I want my party to rock so I can record videos, or there's always a reason.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, clubs like Monaco and Huzu, Eldo, may his soul rest in peace. If a DJ comes and the dance floor is not dancing, he would actually come and stop you. It doesn't matter how big you are.
Yeah.
And he'll play like a Mafigizolo or whatever song that was big at the time. He will play himself and then be like, Zan-D, come play. One time. And now you're feeling bad because you're looking up to this guy, but he played deep house at the wrong time. But he was trying to teach people music. But now this is a premium club in Sentin. Aldo, how about that thing?
Yeah.
He wants his crowd to rock.
Yeah.
So the club owners also they're at fault.
Okay.
And then the consumer. It's easy to blame the DJ.
Yeah.
But when go look at the hip hop charts, not even the hip hop charts, go look at the Spotify charts right now. Go look at the Apple Music charts right now. There's a lot of the big songs that are on those charts are the old songs. One on.
I hear you.
So if the consumer is not listening to new music, how do you expect the DJ to play a whole lot of the new music? Because when the DJ plays the new music at the club, you don't dance.
Yeah.
You're going to go out and say, DJ Olawabo.
Yeah.
He's boring because he didn't play your favorite song.
Sure.
So now people expect you to play the top 40 songs and they expect you to play the sing-alongs and what?
Tricky.
Yeah. So everybody is to blame, to be honest. But I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, people love classics.
Yeah.
As DJs, we need to find the right balance of how much of the classics we play and how much of the of the new stuff we play.
Fair.
But can DJs stop copying each other's sets and playlists? That's where the problem is. People are not really complaining that Speedsta play an old song. They are complaining that they've heard every DJ play Kerry Hilson.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's a problem because everywhere they go, the DJ will play the Kerry Hilson song.
Yeah.
There's so many other classic songs DJs can play.
And even some event promoters, banally, the little notice more.
To say, don't play this one, don't play that one. Because they know DJs become lazy. They don't take risks. They want to play the same classic songs that everyone else has been playing.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem is. It's not that he played an old song. It's because he played the same Kerry Hilson song that every other DJ has been playing.
I hear you.
So DJs, let's do better, guys. I sometimes also I'm at fault.
Cool.
Because Nami, I do play Kerry Hilson.
Okay.
But when I play Kerry Hilson, I mix it cool with another a cappella or I mix one song.
Okay,
I make it I become creative and I make it an experience.
Okay.
So that's what I try and do.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Please give advice to a hip hop artist or even an artist in general,
Yes.
and particularly a hip hop DJ in this era of music that we are in, Mzansi.
It's lately it's not so easy to make it in the entertainment industry. I would say, please, if you have a side hustle or a job, please keep the job. Until you feel, okay, I can't do both. And the entertainment industry is paying me so much that I can do without the other.
Sure.
Firstly, start there because if you depend on just the entertainment industry to pay you and you are not making enough money, you're going to start making the wrong decisions because now you're going to think about your stomach and not think about your brain. Because you're hungry, it's easy to eat anything because you just need to eat anything.
Yeah.
But when you're not hungry, you're going to be sensible and be like, okay, I can move this way and move that way. You can do things with your passion and do the things you like and enjoy instead of just selling your soul and just doing things just for pleasing everybody else. It's very important because that's where the problems start. People start doing things they wouldn't really do because they're just trying to get paid.
Stomach politics.
Or they're trying to pay rent. Or understand. Yes. That's the sad part. And unfortunately, the industry has been like that. If you start there, the rest is going to be easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
This may be very hard for you, but please, it's going to be very interesting though, because, of course, DJ Choc.
Yes.
He has left us.
Yes.
What would you say to him right now? You know, I mean, taking into consideration how much he has poured into the music industry, into so many people, and into you.
Sure. Yes. I'm saying yo like this because there's so much.
Yeah.
I would like to say, ne? You know, he left, I feel, too soon. He left so many projects unfinished. Yeah. He had just started launching other careers. He was about to sign a Hollywood contract to do music for films or a film, you know. Oh, damn. So, what, I don't know, man. But what I would like to say to him now is, just please give me the light as to how to move from here on with what you've left for us. He's left businesses, he's left music, he's left production, he's left knowledge, he's left kids. So as the uncle, I need guidance also as to how do I move from this? How do I move to help? He was also selfless. You know, how do I make sure I pour into people's cups, but make sure I don't pour from nothing? Making sure that, yes, I can be selfless, but without hurting myself.
Yeah.
You understand that? Because now when you pour too much, you start hurting what is supposed to be for you. Or maybe I'm using the wrong word. You start...
Takers don't know when to stop.
They never stop also. Yeah, his passing actually showed me, because some people still call me for favors and money and things like that when I'm going through that week went on. So me, I know, well, I've always been the stronger person. But yeah, man, I just need him to show me a light. Like, you know, whether in my dreams or something, or through somebody to say, Antoine, okay, here, you're moving okay. He actually held my hand into the spiritual journey, because at home we're always Christians, but my dad was also spiritual, but I was too young at the time. So just before his passing, the last 4 years together, we were going through the grandmother's graves and all that stuff, you know, Mkulu's grave. So he held my hand through that spiritual journey. So he's made me spiritual now. So in a dream or something, Dwana, just come and show me a couple of things. Just give me light so I know how to move. Because, you know, when you are overwhelmed with greatness and good things and stuff that somebody used to do for you, do with you, or give you, when he leaves, and especially when he leaves when you are not expecting, it's like it's shocking, because then it's like, okay, now, what now?
Yeah.
What's on?
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, okay, normally I know how to sell an M6 engine, but this guy wants a discount, but I don't know how to move from this. Then I'll call him. I want to do this deal. How do you think I should? And then he'll be like, sometimes he'll be like, Zan-D, man, you should know, man.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing, you know? But sometimes he'll be like, okay, you know what? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, let's try and move this way. But now it's not there anymore. So now I need to like, hold this bull by the horns and actually just go down with it. What's on?
Look, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that
Yeah.
your answers will come to you.
Yes.
And it's so cool that you're still doing the car parts thing and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Of course, he's also had a very big influence in that.
Yes. He taught me the business and he
Yeah.
taught me a whole lot of how to run a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, Zan-D, like Joe, like Raibona, everything that you're doing, we see it. You are putting people on, even though that you do say, you haven't given up. You still are. You
Yes.
still are. And we
Thank you, man.
appreciate your work in the industry. And I hope, one day you're going to come back and we're going to chat again because
Yeah.
things in the music space change all the time.
They change all the time. I mean, listen, I've also had to adapt,
Yeah?
Now I'm a graphic designer. I never thought I'd be that.
Cheers.
Because when you're in this game, sorry, at graphic designers, guys, I've been complaining for years. I've tried to give people money to say, please do this flyer for me. Please do this artwork for me. But now, people always fail you. It's either they are late or, you understand? So now I just do my own artwork.
What better way?
But fortunately, also the technology made it easier.
Yeah.
Now I'm a video editor.
Cheers.
Because also same story.
Yeah.
I record footage. Now I'm an influencer. Who would have thought? Being an influencer, you learn how to create your own artwork, shoot your own videos, and cut your own content.
Yeah.
You understand?
And what's beautiful is that over and above being an influencer, you are influential in your space, in the hip hop space, in the music space.
Thank you.
Bona. Shout out to everything. And thank you so much for making time to come through.
It's an honor, man. Thank you for having me here, Busi. It's like really, like I said, it's an honor. I always love telling my story.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people can always learn from my story.
Yeah.
Yes. Normally I tell the good stuff. One day maybe we can discuss the dark side as well, because I've been through that, and it's something I really feel like I need to teach and tell people so that the younger guys don't fall into the same traps as well.
So, or Tepisa part 2.
Part 2.
Okay.
Where we need to cover the hard times and the dark side of the industry. You understand?
I like that.
Yes.
All right. A promise made is a promise received. Of course, I'm speaking live. Big shout out to DJ Zan-D and a big shout out to you. Make sure, Khore, if you want to make use of the studio, you send an email. It is info@dreamstream.co.za. Whether on your shoot a podcast or maybe you also want to record music or just generally shoot something cool, you know the email address. And of course, from us, Nakalina Kenabusi, Baba Kulu, Baba Dese, Bariki the Queen of Pitori, and Arona, we are outie.